Ouray, Colorado, or the Switzerland of America, as some would say. Having been in Switzerland less than a year prior to this trip, I was ready to laugh at that claim, but I was surprised to find that this quaint little mountain town actually does remind me of Switzerland for a few reasons. It's very walkable to get everything you need, you have amazing views right outside your window, it's nestled in a valley between gorgeous mountains, but most importantly, there are plenty of opportunities for adventure. The Ouray Via Ferrata, a climber's dream located in the beautiful Uncompahgre Gorge. Along nearly 10,000 feet of steel cable, you'll encounter wire bridges, ladders, narrow ledges, and steep, prolonged vertical climbs. And if all these shots weren't enough to convince you to give this a try, did I mention this is free? Well, obviously you need to buy or rent the proper gear, and if you've never done a Via Ferrata before, hiring a guide isn't a bad idea. Those looking for an extra bit of challenge can take on the optional sky climb. This is the longest vertical climb in the gorge and my personal highlight. Your climbing endurance will be tested, potentially along with your fear of heights. But whether you're new to climbing or not, you should definitely put this place near the top of your travel bucket list. Join me as I take on both the downstream and upstream routes of the Ouray Via Ferrata. I am in Ouray, Colorado, checking out 4 different Via Ferrata courses that I've been wanting to do for a long time. There's 2 in the canyon right up here, 1 privately owned one on the other side of town, and 1 over in Telluride. So first I'm going to be checking out these 2 up in the canyon here. There's a downstream route and an upstream route. The upstream one is supposed to be the harder of the 2, so I'll start with the downstream one, then probably do the upstream one after that. There's the canyon. I am so excited. After checking in with the park ranger, I was more than eager to start my climb. It seems like most Via Ferratas start off with something to get your heart rate up, just to make sure you're ready for what's ahead. The entrance bridge did just that for me. While it was nothing I haven't seen before, it was still enough to get the adrenaline flowing just a little bit. Crossing a wire bridge while feeling the power of the rushing water below felt like the perfect start to my first unguided Via Ferrata experience. Considered to be one of the more difficult sections of the downstream route, the Mars Wall will test you early to make sure you're up for this adventure. And sure enough, this was a bit tougher than I expected for the beginning of the easier of the 2 routes. It's hard to beat this setting. I didn't realize I would be climbing this close to the river, but this had me very excited for what else this course could have in store for me. Oh my word, this is so much fun. I absolutely love it. That first section right over there was actually a lot tougher than I was expecting because it has you leaning backwards the whole time. So you're constantly like straining your arms to pull yourself into the cliff as it's like leaning you back. But yeah, if the rest of the course is like that, I'm in for a good day. This is awesome. Here is where the verticality begins, the first sustained climb of the downstream route, the stairway to heaven. Time to enjoy some even better views of the gorge. It's a super fun vertical climbing section. Not done yet though. The one I did in Switzerland was a lot of down climbing. This one I think is a lot of up and down the whole way, which is super fun. So a couple of helpful tips I've learned in my brief experience with Via Ferrata. You want these facing opposite directions. That way you can't accidentally grab both of them. If it was like this, I could accidentally, unlock both of them. So it's always a good idea to keep them opposite. Just unreal. Honestly, this is more fun than I thought it would be. All the ups and downs, beautiful scenery with the gorge. It's a beautiful day. I could not have asked for a better day. This is just awesome. And it looks like I have another pretty epic climb just up ahead. This next section is known as Arrowhead. As the name suggests, I'll have to climb up, then across an arrow-shaped slab of rock. That was another tiring climb. I love how they incorporate natural rock features alongside the metal rungs. There's a really neat narrow rock ledge on that climb, which is really cool to balance on. I'm loving the design of this course so far. It is so much fun. so far this Via Ferrata had absolutely exceeded my expectations. I was having the time of my life. It felt so good to be out here practically by myself on such a gorgeous day. But the biggest challenge by far was still ahead of me: the sky climb. This climb is meant to be a test for those who are a bit more adventurous. It's rated a VF5, which is higher than anything I've ever done before. There are a few tricky moves, and it's very long without any great rest areas for when you get tired. I was already tired, but I would have difficulty sleeping if I passed up this opportunity.
So here's where the ranger told me that there are two different ways you can go. The easy way is that ladder bridge. The hard way is this huge climb. Definitely the biggest one by far of today. I think I gotta go to the hard route. It looks exhausting, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Man, that looks intimidating though. It is huge. Here we go. Crazy. What in the world? Well, that was absolutely exhausting. Probably a little harder than I thought it would be. The hardest part is definitely clipping and unclipping because you have to find the right balance. You don't want to strain yourself too much because I felt myself just draining all my energy out of one arm when I'm trying to unclip with the other. Some of them you really can't do that because you're like leaning backwards and you have to pull yourself closer. Other times you can find a nice rest area to do it a little bit more efficiently. Man, that was a lot of fun. My heart was racing. But now it looks like I have to do a pretty significant down climb here as well.
This section isn't anything special. I just had to make it to the exit so I could take the hiking trail back up the gorge to the start of the upstream route. I was a little more nervous to take that on now that my arms felt like jello, but also I was too excited to wait until tomorrow. Once again, this course kicks things off with a wire bridge. Just a bit higher and more wobbly this time. The first unique feature here is a 70-foot tall helix ladder. Pretty tame in terms of difficulty, but it's a lot of fun and provides a solid lookout point when you reach the top.
Yeah, so far I'd say upstream is definitely harder. You have to be really careful with your footing because a lot of it's just natural rock, most of it's slanted, but that's also part of the fun. It's just like figuring out where to put your hands and feet. You definitely have to think about it more than the downstream route. And so far I feel like there hasn't really been any break areas except for maybe where I'm standing right now. It's been pretty consistently intense this whole time. Man, these are spread out. So overall, the sky climb from the downstream route is definitely the hardest thing I've done today. The upstream route, however, I think about halfway through, it's way harder. It's so much more tiring, and there's a huge climb coming right up ahead. So we'll see if anything can top the sky climb, but this might get harder just because of how exhausting this whole route is overall. Holy smokes. This is insane. Woo. absolutely ridiculous. How in the world? Well, that was crazy. There were so many times where I was just like, what in the world am I supposed to do here? But in those moments, you just got to go for it and you figure it out eventually. Not as long as the sky climb, but technically it's pretty tricky at times. Yeah, I have no idea what's up ahead. I feel like I need to take a little bit of a break before I keep going. This one's a marathon, especially after coming right off the downstream route. It's so fun though. I'm having a blast out here.
After a full day of climbing, my arms are feeling pretty dead, but there was still one more sustained climb just ahead. And by the looks of it, I was going to need every ounce of strength I had left.
This is really hard. Oh my goodness. My arms are really feeling it that section. There are a couple times I felt like I was barely holding on before my arm just started to let go. This doesn't look too terrible up here. I know I have to cross back over the gorge with something called the leap of faith. And that happens where it's pretty narrow. So I think I'm getting close. Got a nice little easy coasting section here, and then right up there is the leap of faith, which is the end of the upstream route. hands are completely toast. But that was an incredible amount of fun. I highly recommend coming to Ouray to check out the Ouray Via Ferrata. This is just a beautiful gorge. Both routes were awesome. This was honestly more fun than I thought it would be. I've been looking forward to doing a Via Ferrata again since Switzerland a year ago, and this exceeded my expectations. I am beat, but it was so worth it. Stay tuned for my next video, which is going to cover the Gold Mountain Via Ferrata, which is privately owned. And I think there should be a lot of unique features in that one from what I've seen. And then I'll also cover the Telluride Via Ferrata. I'm not sure if that'll be the same video or a later video. But yeah, definitely check those out. See you in the next one.